Hello again, welcome back everyone. LiquorHound here with you, and thank you for joining me once again for another Spirit Review video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest release of the Bunnahabhain Cask Strength 12-year-old, that being the 2022 edition. And we're going to go ahead and do a little side-by-side with last year's 2021 edition. They are very, very similar, using the exact same concept, which is Bunnahabhain was trying to share with the masses what it's like to do the Warehouse 9 experience there at the distillery. Now, when you go there, they'll actually take you to the back. You'll get to see all the casks, taste directly from, purely matured, sherry matured Bunnahabhain casks. See what that's like at cask strength. You'll get to go check the ex-bourbon barrels, and they're just trying to give us that flavor profile, basically. So to do that, what they do is they have their blending team go back in the back, select really nice first fill, second fill Oloroso sherry casks that are at least 12 years old, and as well as some ex-bourbon barrels that they feel like ex-bourbon barrel matured malts that they feel are ready. And then Julieann Fernandez, Bunnahabhain's master blender there, will go to work and create these blends. Now, the 2021 retail pricing, about $100, was bottled at 55.1% ABV. And then you have alcohol by volume. And then you have the 2022 edition that is bottled at 56.6% ABV, and retail pricing is going to still be about 100, maybe up $10, 110 depending on where you're at, but really well priced. They do come in this nice little tube that you see here beside it, so if you're on the store shelves and you just see this, that's what the bottles look like. Now, Bunnahabhain, famous for being the basically non-peated Islay whiskey, all right, because when you think of Islay malts, you're thinking Ardbeg, Laphroaig, Lagavulin, big, heavy peat, monster type whiskeys. And these are not those. Matter of fact, their entire core range is unpeated. They do every now and then do a peated expression, but that is not their mainstay. Okay, this is what they're all about. And so that's what we're going to be taking a look at. Starting with the 2021, the one thing I'll say about these before I get going, the 2021 is a little bit lighter in color. So that's going to tell me that it's probably using a little less of the sherried cask or more of the refill sherry casks. Not necessarily a bad thing. That's just something I'm observing. The 2021, when I first opened it, was a little bit, it was a touch hot, a little bit out of balance. Considering it's only 55.1, 110.2 proof, I felt it was a little spicy. It was a little, again, unbalanced. But I decided to go ahead and just, get it past that shoulder, let it breathe. And after a couple or 2 to 3 months, I started noticing like, wow, this is really turning the corner. It's really nice now. And here we are about 6 months after opening. It's drinking really, really well. This 2022 edition, I've only had open for a week. So just keep that in mind when I'm giving my notes, all right? All right, here we go. 2021, 55.1% ABV. Making sure I coat that glass really well. Really nice nose, big, sweet components. And what I'm talking there is like brown sugar, a little bit of molasses, and then you get those really kind of rich sherried notes. Lots of, this one is going to be figs, golden raisins, a little bit of a sour cherry, sour plum tone to it as well. Big baking spice, lots of chocolate, leather. But that sourness is what I'm focusing on because it is really noticeable. And it almost reminds me of almost like a beerish malt character. All right, let's go ahead and taste it. Here we go. Great viscosity. Really nice. Medium, almost medium high viscosity. Oh, the way it actually transitions as it enters, you're focusing on that big brown sugar, that little bit of molasses depth to that. You get that right away, and then you start get inundated with all that sherry flavor, right? So you're getting that, and this one's sour plum, sour cherry. You're getting that kind of fig, that little golden raisin that hits really early as well. Let me go ahead and take a second sip here. Oh yeah, big, again, that's kind of sour beerish malt hits early as well. Baking spice doesn't get hot, it just kind of rises up. You notice it. You're focusing on all those fruits. That soured honeyed malt actually really works well with that. Falls off on that back end. You start getting into that cocoa, shaved cocoa. You start getting into that kind of older leather tone. Yep. And there's also a little bit of a dried, almost like a dried tobacco leaf in here as well on the back end. That's something that was not in this profile when I first opened it. But now that we're again 6 months in, and it's probably still levels about right here, I'm picking that note up as well. So that's really nice. And the way it transitions from the beginning when you're picking up all those kind of fruits and the sweetness components, and then it hits that baking spice well. And then you really notice when it starts transitioning to that back end, a big difference in flavor. It shifts into that darker tone. Once you're getting into that leather, into that cocoa, and into that little bit of tobacco. Yeah, fantastic whiskey. $100, that price, again, to quality ratio is perfect. All right, now we're going to do the 2022. Again, from 55.1% ABV, you're going up to 56.6. All right. Again, we got to coat the glass. Oh, that's really, you can tell they're they're from the same distillery. You can definitely tell there's the same type of product. That the core of the both products are very similar. The only difference I can see immediately on the nose is this one has a little more of that kind of first fill sherry vibe, whereas this one was more on that kind of refill sherry with that sourdough kind of sour plum cherry kind of note that was in there. This one, very clean. Yeah, it's not nearly as sour. Still with the same brown sugar, the molasses depth. This one has more, instead of sour plum, sour cherry, this one has more like brandied cherries, figs, dates, almost honey drizzled because there's a really nice honey malt characteristic underneath it all. Now, as I'm getting to that edge of the glass here, I can pick up a little bit of that sourness, but on this one, it feels almost like polish. So when whiskeys mature, a lot of times they'll start, they'll start developing this little vinegary type tone, and they'll pick up like start turning into apple cider as it matures up, and then eventually they'll start turning into almost like a wood polish, like a mahogany or a polished mahogany. They'll get this little polish tone. That's how I describe it. And so this one definitely has that in there at the edge of the glass. Maybe a little bit of a sweet slivered almond in here. And then you get that kind of, this one had baking spices. Yeah, this one had baking spices, and this one's almost like a malling spice because there is a little bit of dried orange peel in this one. All right, let's taste it. Oh my goodness. Wow, it's so clean on the sherry. That's what I love about it. I can appreciate the sourness that I was picking up in here. It plays really well. It just adds a different layer of complexity. This one, when it cleans up though, It is pretty much what you'd expect from any kind of, when somebody says, oh, that's a sherry bomb of a single malt, or this, that's what you're getting here. The bonus is that Bunnahabhain is infamous for their kind of chocolatey tone on that back end, and this still has that. So you're getting that really heavy sherried malt that you would typically find with a nice chocolate leather back end. Now, I will notice that since this has only been open a week, I'm not getting that kind of tobacco leaf that I was picking up on this one. I expect it to show up, though. I think once this is open for a few more months, that's going to show up. And then that's just going to be ridiculous. Both of these, medium high viscosity. Very, very rich. The only difference is 2022 is cleaner on the sherry, a little more intense on the sherry. So you're getting a little more of that kind of, again, dates, figs, brandied cherries with that plum. Whereas this one was more of the sour plum, sour cherry, figs, and a little golden raisin. Okay. Both tremendous. Anyway, they're doing fantastic work there at Bunnahabhain. If you see either one of these, I would pick them up. Matter of fact, if I could find the 2021 first, which I still see these out there, go ahead and buy it, because side by side, they're great to taste. The difference between the sourness, it depends on how you're feeling, right? If you want that for that one night, go for that, and you want the other one the next night, you're going to be tremendously happy. Again, price point is phenomenal. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video review, and if you do, please consider joining us over at patreon.com/LiquorHound to help support this channel. Keep these type of, unbiased, straightforward reviews coming, because I do try to source all my bottles to do these reviews. So over there, you're going to get these videos ad-free. You're going to get them 2 weeks early before they launch on YouTube, so you can get out to your stores, hopefully find these. But anyway, if not, if you're joining me here just as a YouTube subscriber or viewer, I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Keep leaving all those great comments. I'll get back to them just as soon as I can. Everyone have a great day, and cheers.